A year ago, I hired a team looking at my numbers, measuring my worth, what the market said, et cetera, et cetera. You mentioned a guy like Pat McAfee. He says that he has a lot of critics and a lot of people rooting against him and stuff like that. I can assure you I'm not one of them, because I tell people all the time, the day he arrived at ESPN is the day that my smile hadn't left my face.
Stephen A. Smith said it himself. Not in private, not in a leaked text. On camera, on record, in front of an audience. Then Pat McAfee walked into ESPN, sat right next to Stephen A. at the First Take desk on Tuesdays, and quietly started taking everything. The NBA Finals, the primetime specials, the alternate broadcasts, the commissioner summits, and now a contract reportedly worth between $60 and $65 million a year. 3 times what Stephen A. Smith makes. More than the longtime face of the network. More than the Hall of Famers calling games. More than anybody in the history of ESPN. A punter, a 7th-round pick. A man whose entire NFL career was built around kicking the ball away on 4th down. Stephen A. saw it coming. He described it, praised it, and put it on a pedestal. And then it walked right past him. February 2017. Pat McAfee is 29 years old, in his prime, with 2 years and nearly $6 million still left on his Colts contract. 2 Pro Bowls, a first-team All-Pro in 2014, the best punter in franchise history by the numbers, and he walked away from all of it. Not because his body was done, not because the money ran out, because he had a different bet to make on himself. One that almost nobody in professional sports had ever made seriously, with that much money still left on the table. He announced it on Comedy Central, said he would rather make the world happier than keep kicking a ball on 4th down. And then he went to Barstool Sports and did something almost nobody in media had done yet at that scale. He built something that was entirely his own. He owned it. He produced it. He paid his own crew. He ran the whole operation from top to bottom, without a single boss making creative calls above him. That last part is the detail most people gloss over. McAfee was not an employee looking for a platform. He was a business looking for distribution. And that distinction is exactly what gave him the leverage that nobody at ESPN fully saw coming. By 2023, the show was so big that ESPN did not hire Pat McAfee. They licensed him. There is a difference. He walked into the worldwide leader in sports as a business partner, not a talent signing. He kept ownership of the product. He covered his own production costs. And ESPN paid him $17 million a year just for the right to air the first 2 hours of a show he already owned completely.
The renegade spaceship of Pat McAfee is being rented by Disney and ESPN because they need it and him more than he needs them. He tore up a contract that was worth more than ours, which is an industry changer.
Stephen A. Smith, who had spent nearly 2 decades building the most dominant brand in sports television from inside the ESPN structure, was about to be outflanked by a man who never once gave the network that kind of control. Here is the part that makes this story genuinely complicated. Because Stephen A. Smith is not the villain here. Not even close. For 20 years, he was the most important voice in sports media. He built the loud, opinion-driven debate format into the dominant genre on sports television. First Take became the model that every other network tried to copy. His contracts reflected it. A 5-year, $100 million deal signed in early 2025 made him the highest paid talent at the entire network. $20 million a year, the number every agent in sports media used as the ceiling. The ratings tell the story as cleanly as any contract does. ESPN said in May that McAfee's combined linear and digital viewership was up 25% year over year. First Take, sitting directly between McAfee's show and Get Up in the ESPN daytime lineup, was up just 5%. McAfee lifted everything on both sides of him. His numbers went up. The network overall went up. The show, sandwiched directly between them, barely moved. And ESPN started noticing which name to attach to its biggest nights. During the NBA Finals, McAfee got his own alternate broadcast while the game aired on ABC. When the Eastern Conference Finals ended early and ESPN had a sudden open primetime window, they handed it to McAfee and put the actual commissioners of every major American sport in the building. Adam Silver, Rob Manfred, Dana White, Gary Bettman. That was a Stephen A. Smith night for 20 years running. However, it went to McAfee without a public debate. There are already conversations about McAfee hosting an alternate broadcast for ESPN's first ever Super Bowl.
Hey, phone line, what's going on, Dano?
Oh, what's up, Pat McAfee?
Dan, you are too young to listen to this show. I can tell through. Oh, and I'm taking you on
and
the
also Boston.
Here is the part that Stephen A. Smith cannot fully explain away. When McAfee first joined ESPN in 2023, he appeared on First Take every single Tuesday. The two biggest personalities at the network, sharing a desk, trading takes, driving the conversation together. On paper, it looked like a partnership. In practice, it was already a competition, and at least one of them knew it. Then, in early 2024, the New York Post's Ryan Glasspiegel dropped a report that stopped the sports media world cold. Tempers had flared in an explosive phone call between the two men. Things escalated to the point where McAfee called Stephen A. motherfucker. The dispute stemmed from creative differences over a project Stephen A. was executive producing through his own production company, a documentary series that would air on ESPN. And the fallout was immediate. It was widely assumed the argument concerned Smith's three-part documentary, Up for Debate. McAfee had made weekly appearances on First Take during his first year at ESPN. In the wake of their reported confrontation, McAfee has not appeared on First Take again. Not once. Not even when both men swore publicly that everything was fine. I have nothing but love for Stephen A., McAfee texted the Post. I think I'm still welcome on First Take. I was scheduled through football season to join on Tuesdays. Hopefully next year that'll happen as well. Both men denied it. Both men moved on publicly. And yet the Tuesday appearances never came back. Then Stephen A. went on Graham Bensinger's show earlier this year and delivered the line designed to close the conversation permanently.
Not even a little bit?
No.
Was there a time?
No. We had a difference of opinion about something. He thought that I did something that I didn't do. Somebody else had done it. So once that stuff was clarified, we were absolutely fine, and we've been fine.
And then LeBron James, in the middle of his very public falling out with Stephen A., chose Pat McAfee's show specifically as the platform to respond. Not First Take, not SportsCenter, not any other program on the network they both work for. He went to the man Stephen A. had just called his friend and said everything he needed to say directly to that audience. That choice was not accidental, and Stephen A. Smith, who has spent 20 years understanding exactly how media power works, understood precisely what it meant. Their relationship oscillates wildly between explosive clashes and genuine, if grudging, respect, like two star linebackers who trash talk all game but share a beer afterward. But here's the thing about that dynamic. In that metaphor, one of them is being paid $60 million a year, and the other one just watched his ceiling become the other man's floor. Stephen A. Smith knew what Pat McAfee represented before almost anyone else in mainstream sports media put it into words. He praised the independent model. He called it trailblazing. He said he was grateful for the path those people carved. He said individuals who had the courage to go out there on their own and create a platform that evolved into a business deserved nothing but respect. And he meant every single word. A seventh-round punter, a man who retired at 29 to go tell jokes at Barstool because he thought it was a better bet than $6 million guaranteed. A man whose opening salary ask was $100 million a year from a network simultaneously planning layoffs, and whose agents got raised eyebrows until the ratings made every conversation dead serious. He just did not see that the man he was describing was about to become the highest paid person at the network they both call home. I spent hours putting this together. Hope you all enjoy it. And there's a new hype feature, so feel free to show some love with a hype. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.